Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara coming to you live once again from downtown Flushing, New York, with another version of how you can win at business. And I'm going to put my little thing up here because I like playing with that stuff. And if you don't know me, like I said, my name is Joe DeChara. I am a serial entrepreneur with a New York State CPA license. I specialize in helping really solopreneurs and new business owners how to monetize their business, how to structure their business to actually generate cash flow. I've worked with thousands of small business owners over 35 years, and it mystifies me as to how many of them start businesses and never generate one penny in revenue. So you have that segment of the population, which is unfortunate, but I believe very, very avoidable. And I'm going to share with you why and how today that that can be avoided. And my topic for today, what I wanted to talk to you about, because this has been coming up repeatedly in mastermind groups, in conversations that I've been having with people about how, as solopreneurs, as entrepreneurs in business, we can easily get isolated. Even before COVID-19, this was a problem. But I think the pandemic has really magnified our isolation. And that directly affects not only, our business, but it goes back to how we feel. Being isolated isn't good in any circumstances. If you feel isolated, I mean, there's the people that like being isolated. Like sometimes I don't mind being isolated, but we are people, if that makes sense. We need the human interaction. At least most people do, unless you're like Howard Hughes. If you remember him, the guy was, off his rocker, insane, but also on the other spectrum, extremely, extremely brilliant. But there's not many, Howard Hughes around. So let's just accept the fact that in order to be successful in business, you need to be connected. We need to be connected with other like-minded individuals. And if you agree with me and you're watching live, and give me a hashtag live. If you don't agree with me, give me a hashtag live. And if you have no idea or don't care, give me a hashtag live. Because what I found is that if you're interested in this topic, if you're a solopreneur, maybe you're struggling, or you don't know what the next move is, and you don't know who to ask, if you get on this thread and we actually have a conversation, I'll be able to answer you. And in fact, what I'm going to do right now is I am going to go into, and I've attempted this many times, sometimes successfully, most of the time, I can't say most of the time, but yeah, most of the time unsuccessfully. But what I'm going to try to do right now is go interactive with you and answer your question. If by chance there's somebody watching and wants to ask me a question now. But, and QuickBooks Facebook is not cooperating with me. Here we go. I'm going into the Women's Entrepreneur Network. So if you're in there and you're watching me live, just give me, let me know that you're here. And I'm still having difficulty getting in here. And this is what happens with technology, folks. If you just bear with me a second, I will. I guess not. Let me try this a different way. You know, one thing I've learned about technology is when you want to use it. I think I'm in Women's Entrepreneur Network, and I'm searching for, because there's so many people in this network that, okay, so we're not going to do this. I've wasted enough time. But you know what I want to get into is, hey, Dr. Webb, I see you. If yeah, I was trying to get in there. If you have a question, you know, you can reach out to me. And also, I want to mention that, you know, these Facebook Lives have been one of the things that has really helped me pivot in my business, and that was all thanks to Haley Gray and Jenny Wright. And today, if you've been following me, you see that I have a totally different background. And I don't think that the lighting is right, because you can see, I don't know what you see, but I see like sparkles on my suspenders here. So these are some of the things that we run into. If you want to do a Facebook Live, just expect stuff to happen that you didn't plan on, which is pretty cool. You know, I have a friend, Craig Duswalt. He's the rock star, Rock Your Life. Now it's Rock Your Life mastermind, but he's a good friend of mine. And he teaches people, you know, how to speak from stage and how to get basically how to become a rock star in your industry. And what he's famous for is calling people on the spot without them, you know, no plan, and he'll bring you up on the stage just to embarrass you. But he said, and I'm grateful that he embarrassed me many, many times and made me feel like a fool, because when this stuff happens, I've learned to just take it in stride. And it's part of doing the Facebook Live. If this was being recorded, I'd probably spend 3 hours editing out the stuff that I just did that I didn't want to, you know, share with you. But let me get back on the subject of being an entrepreneur, being isolated, and what you can do to not be isolated, to connect with the right people. Because let's face it, you know, I don't know about you, but I am so zoomed out. I feel like a ping pong ball sometimes, because some days it's just nonstop, you know, networking with people, meeting people, going into events, because it's easier now. We don't have to travel. I don't have to get into a car or a plane to go out and meet people. But I'm still isolated, because unless I connect with the right people and get on the same wavelength and talk the same language, I'm like at a a networking event, sitting in the corner, not mingling, not talking to anybody, not really making those human connections. And one of the benefits, I think, of this pandemic, for me anyway, is that barrier that's been lifted on gaining people's trust online, because it's not easy to get people to know, like, and trust you. It's not easy to make connections with people and get to that point where they say, you know what, I'm willing to share with this person stuff about me and my business that'll help me advance this. You know, if you're in construction or you're a truck driver from New York or the East Coast and you're a man, the chances are slim that you're going to be asking people for help. And I realize that, you know, that's the way it is. That's in their DNA. I'm not a truck driver. I'm not a construction worker. I've had plenty of people in those industries. And, you know, I'm not putting that segment down or downplaying it all. I'm a man, and I'm in the East Coast, and I've had that. And it's just the way it is. It's what we learn. It's learned behavior. And the idea of saying, I'm weak here, I need help, it is a hard barrier to conquer. And for me, just the last couple of months, I have made more solid connections with individuals, like-minded individuals, than probably in the 3 years before. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back. But all I know is that I have a much bigger sphere of influence now. And a lot of it has to do with doing the Facebook Lives and putting myself out there. But I believe a lot more of it has to do with being focused and intentional about what my goals and objectives are. You see, I've been online for starting from 15 years ago when I started doing my bookkeeping business online. And I bridged those geographic limitations of an accounting business where I was able to actually service clients from all over the country. I could have gone all over the world, but I had enough prospects in the United States to offer, low cost, efficient bookkeeping and accounting services, because I eliminated the cost and the time and the barriers of connecting with people that were further from my geographic location. Now, don't get me wrong. I am currently looking to build a mastermind networking group in my local area in Flushing. We don't have one here. So I don't downplay or minimize the value of that actual face-to-face human contact. But things have changed. If you realize that things have changed drastically in the world, in how we do business, in almost everything. This has been a 180-degree shift in how we conduct ourselves. And not only that, our expectations and our opportunities have suddenly become astronomical. We went through months of unknown and financial turmoil and chaos. And some people benefited through the roof. If you were in one of those industries that deal with chaos and stuff like that, there were some industries that went through the roof. I heard stories of Chick-fil-A mastering the takeout industry. They just got it down to a science, but they are an extraordinary organization, and that starts from the top. Most of us are, like me, solopreneurs. So again, the solution to the isolation is to unisolate, to connect with other people. But I take it a step further. This is what I'd like to suggest to you today. And not only suggest, but urge you to, and I'm going to put up my other banner, because this is part of the technology that I've learned, and it keeps, this is another thing. These technologies to connect with people all over the globe just keep getting, there's more of it. And this is the kind of stuff that happens from necessity. This is why there were more millionaires ever created during the Depression than ever before. I don't have facts or figures, but I just know that it's common knowledge pretty much. And that happened because people had to innovate. And then people started spending money, and we adapted. So this is like an evolution where I believe that this was a terrible, terrible thing. A lot of people died. They're still dying. People are still getting sick. We're not over the hump yet. But like I've said from the beginning, business doesn't stop. The solution to this obstacle, which is what it is, it's just another obstacle. The solution is to be in the solution, be a solution. Some of us, like me, can help entrepreneurs and other businesses navigate these times and show them how to pivot. And that's what I like to do. And that's really what my definite chief aim was from 11 years ago when I wrote it out. And it was to help entrepreneurs become successful, whatever success means to you. And the way that I decided to do that was through education, just talking about it, writing about it, and doing what I'm doing right now. And one of the easiest ways, probably the easiest way to connect with like-minded people is through a mastermind group. That is 100%, 1000% a fact. Because you could go back and look at any kind of successful company, organization, and it was composed of like-minded people that had a goal. And that's what Napoleon Hill, what his explanation, his definition of what a mastermind group is. Because that's another thing. Mastermind groups have been labeled. It's become a label. People create mastermind groups that are really networking groups. And that's fine, because you could have a networking group that does some mastermind activities, and it can be powerful. So I don't downplay that. You know, as long as you're part of a group of like-minded individuals, you have a chance to connect with those people on a deep level where you can get to know, like, and trust them and learn more about their business and how you can help them. And, you know, Zig Ziglar said that you can get anything you want if you help enough people get what they want. And that's one of the laws of the universe that they didn't teach me in CPA school. They didn't tell me to connect with like-minded people so that you could run a good business. But that's essential. And that's one of the shortcomings of the education system. You know, we teach stuff. We teach history. We teach math. We teach language. But I don't remember any course that really taught me the principles of connecting with other human beings that have a similar goal. You know, they do talk about, you know, maybe teamwork, and then you can get into sports, but it's not the same thing. It's really not the same thing, because I've been on plenty of teams, okay, and it's not the same as a mastermind. A mastermind, according to Napoleon Hill, is the meeting of the minds of two or more individuals in a spirit of complete harmony with the purpose of achieving a goal. And I paraphrase that. I mean, it's not his exact definition. But the bottom line is, it's a mastermind is a group of people, two or more people, just want the same thing. And so Mastermind with Joe DiChiara is a simple, right now, free way to connect with people. We've had some awesome meetings every week, and didn't matter if we had 3 people or 8 people. It was always some kind of connection that happened, and I believe everybody walks away with some kind of nugget or feeling of, I just helped somebody accomplish something, or somebody helped me get in the right direction. Now, I also belong to Mastermind with Sue, which is a friend of mine, and she's into them. She's an expert in Mastermind, so you can go to Mastermind with Sue. So, you have a lot of, these are free mastermind groups, and it's a great way to connect with people. I also have Master Tribe Builders, which I am building now with Haley Gray, which the focus of that group is going to be very powerful, because what we're going to be doing is focusing on building your Facebook group. So you have a tribe of raving fans. And Haley, if you don't know who Haley Gray is, she's built a nice, really focused, it's one of the most active, effective groups of its kind on Facebook. She's got over 66,000 women entrepreneurs. It's the Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I'm saying that because I'm not only broadcasting here on WEN, I'm on a couple of places, and I do that through this great program called StreamYard. And I'm actually an affiliate. I could post a link and get, affiliate fees for that, and I'm just too stupid to do that, or whatever. But I'm just telling you, if you want to sign up for StreamYard, I get no financial compensation. But if you're doing these kinds of broadcasts, it's far and away, it's more designed for this than Zoom is. And there's some other platforms, but I like this one. But so we have that, and we also have a new format, which actually I'm not supposed to talk about it, but if you go to Mastermind with Sue for the next meeting, which I believe is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I think she'll talk about what the next exciting version of our masterminds are going to be. And masterminds are not the only way to do it. There are, and I'm going to get rid of that. That's my website. I invite you to visit it, and that's how you can connect with me for a free chat. But if you showed up late, I want to circle back and ask you to give me a hashtag live, and if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay, because what I learned is that actually puts you on the thread, and it helps my Facebook scores, I think. I don't know, but it's a good way for me to know people are listening to this. And I do want your questions and comments on this. But another very, very important business principle that everyone should be following is the need for coaches. We all need coaches. And I'm not talking about mentors. Mentors are people that you look up to, you look for advice. There's no formal, program that you're following. Maybe you have a relationship with them. And those are and we all need mentors. I've always had mentors. One of my first mentors, Vinny D, is still my mentor. I'm talking to him for 40 years. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be a CPA, I believe. I mean, he really got me over the hump. And he was actually my coach then, because he was giving me specific instructions on how to talk to people. And I was I was a mess. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to interview. And he just gave me, see, I always had the God-given tools, obviously, because I wouldn't be able to do this right now. But I needed that direction, that, oh, is this how you do it? And you're not going to get that if you're isolated. You're not going to get that if you're trying to do everything on your own. It's impossible. Nobody, not one successful business owner has done it all on their own. The proof is in the pudding, folks. So, I'm going to circle back again. It's something that I said about the fact of the matter is that I have been able to pivot not only because of my actions, but because of my focus and intentionality. I didn't just join Facebook groups. I did a lot of research, a lot of analysis, a lot of work on myself to figure out what it was I wanted to do, who I was, what kind of impact I wanted to make, who I wanted to make it with. And I have an affinity for women entrepreneurs, especially women that are just starting a business. Those are my favorite kinds of clients. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have men as clients. I have some men that are great clients. My coach is a man, Larry Broughton. So I don't have anything against men. I will work with, if it's, like I said, a like-minded individual. So the intentionality, the focus enables me to be a lot more efficient and effective. And having a coach, and not just one coach, I have several coaches. And some of them aren't even formally coaches, but they're coaching and they don't even realize it. People like Elizabeth Frederick, who is my VA. I actually, she is coaching me, she's teaching me. And I appreciate that. The only difference is we don't have a coaching agreement. She's my VA, but sometimes my mom coaches me because I share stuff about my business and I seek advice. And based on my definitions, maybe my mom isn't a coach. Maybe she's more of a mentor and other people. But the concept is that I asked for help. I asked, how am I doing? I'm not getting people to sign up for this, or I'm not getting enough money. What am I doing? I must be doing something wrong. And having somebody from the outside look at it is the only way that you're really gonna find out, do you have something or is it just a fantasy? I have an idea for this $47 a month bookkeeping service. I am offering new business owners a monthly full charge bookkeeping service. Everything done for you, overseen by a CPA. Right now, that's me. And, so I want to sign people up. Well, am I on to something? Are people really going to sign up for it? And then if they sign up, am I making a profit? Am I losing money? But, so there's a couple of ways to do this. You run it by some people, you run it by your mastermind, you run it by your coach, and then you test it. Because no matter what you think or what people say, until people start signing up, it's only a fantasy. It's a dream. And that brings me back to, and I guess this is a good way to close, the point that I made in the beginning, that millions and millions of people start businesses, never generate a penny in revenue. And tonight, I'm actually gonna do two lives tonight. I'm gonna be interviewing a friend of mine who was a very interesting woman. I'm not gonna reveal who she is, but I could tell you that what she does is something that you probably want to sign up for because it's a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to interviewing her tonight. And I am going to cover the part of the reason, a big part of the reason why those companies never generate any revenue. And it's because they start out with no business model. That's right, folks. When you go into business, you can't just go into business and say, I'm going to sell stuff or I'm going to provide this service. There has to be a model. There has to be a pattern. There has to be a rhyme to the reason. There has to be sequences that happen, and we call that a business model. So one business model is the retail business model, that you have inventory in a physical location, a store. People come in, they buy it, they pay you, and that's the business model. And there's things that happen in between. You have to purchase the material. So that's a business model. There's the coaching business model. There's, okay, this is what I'm going to offer. These are my programs. I got A, B, and C, and you have a contract with those people. So what I'm going to talk about tonight are the different types of business models. And if you go into business with a business model, you're more likely to generate revenue. I mean, if that makes sense to you, then join me tonight at 8 o'clock. We got a double header. If any of this makes sense to you and you want to connect with me, go to timewithjoe.com. I'll have a brand new background. I'll have my cityscape on. So, if you just want to check out my backgrounds, you should show up. And that's it for this segment of how you can win a business. And I want to put my logo up there. I'm really proud of this. And I'm going to take off the Time with Joe, only because I like playing with the stuff. It's so cool that I can do this. And if you understand that fax machines were like unbelievable technology when I got into this, you would understand. This is Star Trek stuff that we're doing now, folks. Anyway, God bless. Have a good afternoon, and hopefully I will see you tonight. Thank you.